Haha, hello, my black and white brothers. Welcome to my new channel, Alpha Anime. So, today we have a new what if. Yeah, let's get into it. This what if is what if Deku had never gone to UA. So, a lot of things are probably gonna happen. Good things, bad things, things that are probably gonna make you throw up, things that are probably gonna make you pull down your zipper and go to town, if you know what I mean. I don't do that, so don't quote me, please. I'm dying. I'm dying. I'm sorry. I'm a 12-year-old child at heart. So let's get into it. So everything goes on the same until the beginning of the anime. He gets bullied. He doesn't have a quirk. All of that happens. So what does happen is that um, after school, after Bakugo basically threatens him for going to UA, he starts walking down the place, walking down the street, going under the thing. When he goes under the bridge, the sludge villain attacks him. He's very, very, very afraid because this time All Might doesn't come out, and he's knocked out and doesn't meet All Might, so that doesn't happen. So he doesn't get all for one for all. So yeah, the slime villain takes him over, and then he uses him as a meat shield to get around the city. And at this point, Midoriya is basically knocked out because he couldn't breathe, and now that the sludge villain has his body, he's alive. Like, he can breathe now, but then he's basically knocked out and being used as a puppet. So so the slime villain just keeps walking around the city until he finds another sewer gap, which then he says, "Huh, thanks for the body, kid. I might use you later, but don't worry, I'll leave you here for now." So the sludge villain escapes. Hours later, Midoriya wakes up, and now that he hasn't met All Might, he doesn't believe in himself right now. Nothing happens. He's still quirkless. He wakes up and is like, "Oh, what happened?" That Then he's like, "The sludge villain!" He looks around. He looks around, very afraid, and then he realizes, "Oh, thank gosh, he's gone." Like, maybe that was a dream or something. But how'd I get here? It's like, ugh, the sludge villain must have taken me over. Well, hopefully I can get home soon so my mom isn't really afraid that I'm dead or something. So he starts to walk home with nothing interesting happening after that. When he gets home, his mother runs over to him and starts hugging him because she was really afraid. She was about to call the police. Like, "Midoriya, what happened?" I mean, Izuku, what happened? Because Midoriya is their last name, so it wouldn't make any sense. So, "Izuku, what happened?" When she says that, he replies, "Ugh, I think a sludge villain took me over or something, but don't worry. He didn't do anything. He probably just used me as some kind of shield to get around the city." Uh, Inko nods and starts and tries to ask him that let's call the police and tell them about it. It's like, nah, I'm good. I just need to rest right now because I'm very, very exhausted. I've had a long day. So yeah, Inko was like, "Okay, go get some rest. We can talk more in the morning." Okay, so the next morning, he doesn't forget about it, but then he doesn't want to bring it up because it's kind of traumatizing for him. He may have been acting somewhat calm, but then he had nightmares all night and he could barely sleep. He was just afraid at what he might have been doing while he was unconscious and the sludge villain had taken him over. But he tries to push those thoughts out of his mind. So when he heads to school, Bakugo confronts him and is like, "Deku, have you removed your admission from UA?" Deku says, "No, no, Kachan. I told you that I wanted to do it." By the way, that voice crack was on purpose, so don't think that that my voice is cracking. I did that for effect. Bakugo says, "Wrong answer, Deku." He then proceeds to grab Midoriya's arm and blow it up. Not like a big explosion, just like enough to burn him and leave a small scar. He Bakugo then wants to actually destroy his bag and his clothes, but then a small hero comes and stops him. No, no, wait, not a hero, a villain. A villain comes to stop him, and that villain is All For One. He is actually just he was disguising himself so he could just walk around the city gathering intel and just scouting every place out because he didn't want to send Shigaraki because Shigaraki is a child and he doesn't know much for some reason. So yeah, All For One steps into the alleyway, but then he looks just like a normal human, and then he steps in and is like, "Hey, kid, what are you doing?" Because now he's just trying to act. He's trying to act. He's trying to act like he's just trying to look out for someone. But then Bakugo says, "None of your business." But All For One then switches to his normal form and says, "That was the wrong thing to say, kid." He then uses his what the heck are those things called anyway? The thing the finger spears. He sends them at Bakugo, but then he stops as soon as he gets to his head. He's like, get away from him, or you'll die." Bakugo says, "I'm not afraid of you." And then All For One proceeds to cut off the tips of Bakugo's hair, like by just moving his finger a little bit, and then it was so fast that Bakugo didn't even see it coming. Bakugo sees this and then says, "Well, Deku, it looks like you're about to meet your maker, and I'm not gonna get blamed for it." He then proceeds to get the hell out of there. Okay, so when Bakugo is a safe distance away, All For One morphs into his normal form and starts walking towards Deku. Deku's like, "No, no, get away from me, please!" With that exact voice crack. Oh my god, I think my voice is actually cracking. Well, I don't have to worry about that now. Then All For One, when All For One is done morphing into his normal form, is like, don't worry, young Izuku, I'm not gonna hurt you." Then Izuku's like, "Wait, how do you know my name?" Like, "Oh, I met you when you were much, much smaller. And because I am your father. Because I want to pull that off on my first What If. Because I'm probably going to do another All For One. But then this one is just like, what if Deku never got to UA? So I just wanted to implement this into it because it seems fun." So as soon as that happens, Deku is like, my father? Dad? Where have you been all these years?" I didn't lie to you and your mother. I have been out for work, but not the type of work you'd be proud of. But I won't talk about that now. All I need you to know is that I want, if you want to go to UA, I'll help you train. So yeah, that happens. So the training arc happens. All For One takes Deku, but he doesn't give him a core because he has a plan for what he's gonna do. What he does is that he trains Deku, not like he just gets his body stronger. They don't do the beach thing. He just teaches Deku some simple fighting styles, a little bit of uh, kung fu, a little bit of karate, so he can prepare him from the quirk he's gonna give him later. You'll get that later in the story. Maybe in this episode, maybe in the next. We will see. So the training arc happens. All For One just trains him a little bit of karate, kung fu, and then before you know it, it's time for the UA entrance exam. He starts walking in. He's like, "Oh my God, I'm actually at UA. The last time I was here, we were just here to visit, but now I'm applying. I hope I can get in." And then he walks forward, and then he trips and is like, "Oh, well, maybe I'll just die here instead." Uraraka helps him up, just touches him, if you know what I mean. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Just touches his back so he can float and not literally die the first time he steps into UA. He's like, "Oh, sorry for using my quirk on you. I just thought it would be bad luck to let you fall down on the first day." So the whole thing happens. Bakugo scoffs at them while he's walking away, and then Ida confronts him while that happens. He does the same amount of good on the UA entrance exam. The not the practical exam, the written exam. He gets a good 95%, which is really good. So he passes that. But then when it's time for the practical exam, things don't go well because let's just say it's hard for a kid that can barely lift anything to destroy literal robots. Yeah. So when that happens, so he wants to walk over to Araka because she seems nervous, but Ida stops him because Ida's a douchebag and can't mind his own gosh darn business like a normal functioning human being. Okay, I'm sorry for getting angry. I really don't like Ida. Like, he's cool and all, but then he's too much of a straight arrow for me, if you know what I mean. So yeah. So then President Mike says, "Okay, are you ready? Go!" It's like there's no countdowns for a real hero. Everyone rushes in, but he doesn't. But then he's not mentally prepared, so he stands there for a good 5 seconds. So when he gets in, he he sees robots. So he's a little bit more confident. He's not like he's not way more confident, but then he's confident enough where he can take out a few robots. So the first thing that happens is that he sees that there are a lot of robots being destroyed. Then he sees a small part of a broken robot, which is shaped kind of like a knife, or no, a big sword. It's sharp. That's all you need to know. So he picks that up, and then heads to he sees a 3-pointer. He runs up to it. Um, he jumps up. He can't jump that high because he has a giant metal rod in his hand. He then stabs it in the face. It almost destroys it, but not yet. Then when he falls down, it almost takes him out. But then, Ionama, what's the guy's name? The guy with the naval laser shoots it, destroying it. So when that happens, he thanks him, and then he starts going for robots. So by now he stacks a good 20-25 points. He saved like 15 people. So yeah, so that's where he is at this moment in time. Then the ground begins to shake as the 0-pointer comes out. He starts to run away, but then he hears Uraka, and then hears Uraka screaming. He's when he sees her, he's like, he has a he's basically having a mental breakdown because he knows he can't do anything, even if he tries. But because he's a freaking idiot, he starts running over to Uraka, wanting to save her. So what he does is that he's not that fast. So by the time he gets there, the 0-pointer is basically right over them. So he asks her to use your quirk and touch the rock to make it lighter. She does that, then he throws it off. Then he picks up Uraka and starts running. He gets her to Ida, telling him to take her away to get fixed. And then there he and then as soon as that happens, the President Mike yells out, "The entrance exam is over." Then Deku is like, "No, No! How did I not get enough points? Oh no! No! Oh my gosh. And he's basically having a mental breakdown again. So he heads home. Oh my god, Discord, come on, not the time. Okay, so he heads home, really very very sad, feeling like like he failed his father, all for one, and then all for one is watching from afar, and then right after that, when Deku gets home, he he just waits and waits for weeks until he gets a letter from UA saying, "I'm sorry, you couldn't come in because you didn't have enough points. This is not your Hero Academia." Then that's how his dreams are basically shattered. He spends days just feeling sorry for himself, and then his father showed when he's walking to school the next day. He After a few days, he just his dad. So yeah, All for One confronts him on his way there. Then All for One is like, "Izuku, I'm sorry that you couldn't get into UA." Like, no, it wasn't your fault. You did your best. But then he's like, "No, I could have done better." But then that I didn't think that being a hero was your calling. Deku looks at him in confusion and a little bit of just not fear, just I don't know how to explain it. It's not fear, but then it's fear and confusion basically. So when that happens, he see All for One walked over to him. "I can bestow upon you a quirk, and then I specially picked this one out for you. That's why I taught you karate." So All for One asks him, "Do you want to join me to take down the society of heroes and villains? Well, where the strongest survive?" Deku Deku agrees. He takes All for One's hand, and then he says, "Now, I have bestowed upon you, by you taking my hand, I have bestowed upon you the quirk of teleportation." And that's where I'm going to leave it off, my white brothers and white brothers, sisters, and black brothers and sisters, because I'm black, so I'm allowed to say that. I don't care what you do. So yeah, that's what happens. So that's the end of the video. Hope you liked it, and goodbye.